Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Wednesday, the 8th of April. With McShane, we're working our way through Paul's letter to the Thessalonians, first letter. Today we read the 5th chapter. And in verse 14, Paul says to them and us, "And we urge you, brothers and sisters, warn those who are idle and disruptive, encourage the disheartened, help the weak, be patient with everyone." And I thought, wonderful advice for a social context where you're dealing with other people where you often don't see eye to eye. And so there are idle people and disruptive people. Paul says, warn them. You've got the weak, help them. Don't just leave them on their own to struggle. Be patient with everyone. But I was sort of fascinated with this, encourage the disheartened. I thought so often that's where people find themselves, that things are going well and then something starts going wrong. And they're people that feel wonderfully close to God and have a wonderful experience, maybe over Easter. And in the weeks that follow, it just kind of dissipates and leaves them flat and they don't feel like they can continue. And it really is disheartening that you think that was so good and now it's so difficult. And it just feels like so much effort is required and it can really just sink one. You feel, well, why bother? But we encourage not to lecture them, not to point out that you ought to have deeper faith or stronger faith, or if you loved God more, this wouldn't happen. None of that kind of nonsense. It says just encourage them. So don't worry, just keep going. It's not where it is, where you'd like it to be, but don't be disheartened. And picks up with what it says about Jesus, where as he deals with people, it said that a bruised reed he won't break, and a smouldering wick he won't snuff out. Where people are struggling, where things are not going well, where they're about to give up, they disheartened, they bruised, they're smouldering, it's about to die. He doesn't just say, oh, well, that's too bad, and move on. He helps and encourages, he strengthens and nurtures and looks after us. And for me, that's just a wonderful fact of who God is and what Jesus is like, particularly as one struggles, but also a real challenge as we deal with people. It's so easy to write people off, to when things are going well with us, to just leave people behind and ignore them. But that's not what we're called to do as Christians. We're called to, when somebody's disheartened, to encourage them. If they're weak, to help them and to be patient. Don't lose patience. Some people will move at different speeds. So if you're disheartened about anything, I pray that you know the encouragement that the Spirit can give. If you know other people around you that are seemingly disheartened, that the Spirit will give you wisdom to be able to encourage them and help them in some way. And as we do that, as we can fulfill and do what Paul tells us to do, we will be blessed, the church will be blessed, the kingdom will grow, and we will be more like Jesus. So be challenged by that thought, be encouraged by that thought, and know that we, despite being disheartened often, are blessed.